Breaking news from the Ministry of Souls News Network. So, Big Mouth Musk has just gone and put his foot in everything. Not only is he all over the Epstein files trying to claim now that the fake Grok has called him a pedophile. He's come out and announced that SpaceX has merged with XAI, you know, whatever, to go into space and put AI in space and colonise Mars and blah, blah, blah. I just said to the king, so it's going to require a lot of iridium, palladium, osmium, and rhodium to pull this off, which proves, because don't you find it a little bit convenient that a couple of weeks after I suggest they stole these metals and that from the United Kingdom, he's now announcing this merger at the same time as they've released probably Pegasus and all these floods are happening. It's Project Noah's Ark. It's everything I said. It's everything I said. And he's just pretty much just gone out and admitted it. When I did the investigation into the earthquakes, when I looked into the boring company and he shut my phones down, when he was trying to stop me from investigating what the boring company were doing and how he was digging tunnels and all of that around here and causing the earthquakes and France and everything I said, every single thing I said to the king, it's going to take a lot of those metals to pull off what he's trying to pull off, what he's saying he's going to pull off, and now he's just announced it. The trash takes itself out. He's just, by him saying what he said about SpaceX and XAI or whatever it's bloody called, he's just confirmed everything I said, because I said, what did I say? They will have stolen the rhodium and iridium and palladium and having access to the osmium and that so that they can go into space and pull off Project Noah's Ark. So while this is all happening, they release the bat virus. At the same time as the World Health Organization and Klaus Schwab have been mentioned in the Epstein files. Remember my Chonsu dream, where Epstein was strapped to where Klaus Schwab was strapped to the Epstein temple and the ground opened up and sucked him in. The other day I said Klaus Schwab will be next to be named. And it's all going down. Davos, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization have are all implicated in the Epstein files. The admitting that America and Israel created COVID, and now the bat virus that was let loose in Asia. And remember my dream where Bill Gates, who's losing millions, by the way, hundreds of millions, he's lost a fortune. People dumping Microsoft shares and all of that because now he's falling from a great height, which is night of the Black Sun. Remember, he falls from a great height. So that's Bill Gates now falling from a great height. And I said to the king, he hasn't yet hit the ground. There's still so much more left that Bill Gates is going to lose. Losing money in Microsoft is just one part of it. Being publicly humiliated for having STDs from Russian hookers and that is just part of it. All the rest is coming down. So now it turns out that everything I said about the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, NATO, all of it is true. I was right about everything. My investigations are so good, man. I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to put a link in the description box of a thing that popped up on my Instagram about a Russian physicist who it looks like he was in between Nikola Tesla and me when it came to working on time jumping and manipulating time, which was really interesting. So yeah, I was right about everything, and now Elon Musk has just confirmed it. It takes a lot for him to pull off what he wants to pull off, because I said to the king, they'll be wanting it for medical equipment, because remember they want to colonise Mars. They'll be needing it for his SpaceX ships. They'll be needing it for AI, but you need a lot of it. You're going to need a lot. But this stuff is the most expensive precious metals in the world. So then the king's not just going to go selling it, so of course they stole it. I said in the Super Bowl, it's like Ocean's 11. And now he's just come out and said, oh yeah, we've bought this and we're doing this, and it's like, well, where are you getting the iridium, rhodium, osmium and palladium from? And platinum and lithium. Where are you getting it from? Because he's going to need a lot. Truckloads, dump truckloads, cargo ship loads full of the stuff. And it looks like what's been happening is around the time that he was building SpaceX and working on this plan with Donald Trump before his first presidency, it looks like they've been secretly mining it in Great Britain and storing it, waiting for the moment to pull off Project Noah's Ark. With the floods, they've just had that massive flood in Ireland, and Ireland has some of the mines. Because remember I said they pull off the floods to have access to children and to get their hands on the minerals and metals. Like Jamaica and all that is rich in minerals and metals. And then they want to flood everyone, kill everyone off with the pandemic variants. They got the Queen with COVID. They'll try and get the King with Pegasus, or what are they calling it? The bat virus. But remember I had the dream where Bill Gates and Tedros and 2 other people were strapped to the poles and executed in full view of the world, which just means when you dream about people being publicly executed, and remember the devil loses his crown when I saw the gallows in the back, it means strung up, being taken down in front of the public witnessing your downfall. So they've been caught out. This Asia thing, this bat thing that they're pulling off and trying to pull off in India, and that is their swan song, so to speak. Like, this is it, they're done for. Because I've already exposed everything. I already put it all out there months and years ago to let people know what was coming. And now people are starting to pick up and run with it. The other thing is that people are starting to defend Russia in regards to the British newspapers, and that are now trying to say that Jeffrey Epstein was a Russian spy, a Russian asset, and people are like, yeah, no, that's not what the Epstein files are saying. The Epstein files are saying that Epstein was working for Israel, that, you know, he was a Mossad agent and all of that. So now people are coming out to defend Vladimir Putin. You know, you either when the West get caught committing sins, they either blame Israel or they blame Iran or China. But people are seeing the truth now. The evidence is speaking for itself. People are starting to pull Elon Musk up for his fraud, for his lies, for the fact that he's one of them. He's trying to say that they're fate. Because, you know, you can't just admit that you're an evil scumbag. No, it's always fake. The other thing is, the Trump administration were caught out offering people money to go and see Melania Trump's movie, And now the news is trying to say that it was standing room only, and that she's already made like $7 million in that. And it's like, yeah, because people were paid to go and see it. How humiliating. How bad do you have to be that you have to get daddy, because obviously he's her sugar daddy, has to get daddy to pay people to go and see your movie? Like, how little integrity and humility do you have that you now are being called out for advertising to pay people to go and see your movie? These people, they have no dignity, they have no self-respect. It's all about image. But see, that's Baal and Baphomet, isn't it? Baal and Baphomet are the devils for appearance is everything. How you come across is everything. It's very sociopathic. So, yeah, so Elon Musk has basically just confirmed everything I said. What he's just talked about, you're going to need a lot of those precious metals. And they're not the sort of precious metals that even osmium, even billionaires can't afford osmium. Like, it's £1,000, £1,000 or $1,000 for like a gram of it, like for just like a little amount, like a dot of it. But he suddenly got his hands on enough, because it's used for spaceflight and AI and all that. He suddenly got his hands on enough that he can go into space. Where's it come from? So when I did my investigation, when I looked back to around about 2002, I think it was, because I remember saying to the king, this goes back a bit further than what we realised. Who was Prime Minister in 2002? Was it Tony Blair? I'll have to have a look. So, yeah, so it looks like, I mean, because he's into the whole AI digital thing anyway. I'll have to have a look. Who was Prime Minister in 2002? I was able to take it back to around about 2002. The Duchy of Lancaster is the name of the King's company that owns all the land. The Duchy of Lancaster, is that it? Links in the description box anyway. That's where the land in Wigan is, where they tried to say he'd been dumping toxic waste, and that Wigan would buy the land for him to clean it up for him. Obviously, at a reduced price. So they've been dumping toxic waste on the King's land, and claiming that there's toxic gases on his land, like with the Dartmoor prisons and all that, those prisons where he owns the prisons and the land on the prisons. So they're lying to him and saying that it's all toxic, but they'll take it off his hands, for a reduced cost, so he doesn't have to deal with the cleanup of it. But as I said in my investigation, I've been able to prove that there's precious minerals and metals all around the land that the king owns. And it's they're the most precious metals in the world. There's no metals more expensive than the metals and minerals in that just happen to be on the land that the king owns. So I've been able to trace it back to 2002. So I'm pretty sure that's when Tony Blair was still Prime Minister, which would make the Queen right. Because that's 9/11 happened just after I got here. I moved here in 2002, and like at the end. I moved here at the end of 2000. At the end of 2000, the August of the year 2000, and then 9/11 happened not long after that. And then we had the war in Iraq with and then Afghanistan. So So the Queen was right then. If he was president in 2000, prime minister in 2002, and I've been able to trace them with these mines and that going back to 2002, then they've been planning this for 24 years. They've been obviously storing enough up to be able to ship it all out in one go. So then they pull off the Venezuela Bella 1 thing, where they just happen to get 170 kids for the sacrifice, put Starmer in place to help pull it all off, to help bring the monarchy down, and steal the money. And they even admitted it on the Q, even admitted that they'd stolen money that they were stealing from the Queen. At the time they would have set all of that up, the Queen was still the reigning monarch. So when they were talking about stealing from the Queen, when Q was talking about stealing from the Queen and pulling off the October 15 thing on the Simpsons episode, they were putting it all into place from Tony Blair to not only use 9/11 as an excuse to blame Arabs and go to war and steal the gold and steal the minerals and oil and all that, but also to steal from the Queen. So they've been stealing minerals and metals from the Queen since about 2002. I'm just trying to think when that Simpsons episode aired, where it's the poster. Was it called Disney? But it's DYS. They didn't spell it right. And there's the poster of the towers coming down that says October 15, which is Sarah Ferguson's birthday. And because I put it all together, and I said, so they used Sarah and Andrew to blackmail them to get at the Queen, to get money from the Queen, but it's all like been a diversion tactic as an excuse to go in and drill the land to steal the minerals and metals. Wow. So yeah, so the Queen was right. This does go back to Tony Blair. So they've been quietly mining the minerals and metals of Great Britain from under the Queen Elizabeth, and now King Charles's noses, for the purpose of pulling off pandemics to wipe out as many people as they can, and use the floods and Project Noah's Ark so that they can get in their spaceships and go to Mars and be the aliens that they think they are. And Elon Musk has just confirmed it. Because I'm telling you, these metals are found in other metals or made when you combine other metals, but you need a lot of everything to just get a very small amount, because they're the rarest, most expensive precious metals on earth. And in the video that taught me this, the guy says osmium is so expensive even billionaires can't afford to get their hands on it. And yet osmium is what they're going to need to go into space and pull off the whole AI thing. So Elon Musk has just admitted that they've managed to get their hands on a large enough amount of osmium and iridium and palladium and rhodium and all of that to pull off this act that even all the billionaires in the world combined couldn't afford to buy the sort of amount that they're going to need to pull off everything that he said: colonising the moon, colonising Mars, AI and space. Where's it all come from? Because I know it's not coming from Russia, because Russia is one of the biggest producers of these metals, and Brazil, parts of Asia, Oceania, which is my territories, South Africa, all the Commonwealth nations, mostly Commonwealth nations, and in order to, and because these are all the people that they're going to take up to colonise Mars and the moon, it's all going to be people like Jacinda Ardern, and that they're not going to let peasants go up. It's going to be people like Klaus Schwab. and von der Leyen and that, all the rich and, the people that helped them pull off COVID and are trying to pull off this bat virus thing. Because that was the plan. That was the whole plan with the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization. And the Jeffrey Epstein files admits it. It's all in the Epstein files. Getting the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the CDC, and world leaders in that involved in pulling off COVID and this virus in India, the bat virus. In the Epstein files, they're talking about the bat virus, which proves it's all orchestrated, which is Project Noah's Ark. So I was right about everything. And Elon Musk just opened his big trap and confirmed everything, the timing of the virus, of the floods, of the mining, the earthquakes, and now his big announcement at the same time as these Epstein files are being dropped. It's there's no such thing as coincidence. It's God's timing. God's timing is perfect timing every time. So they have stolen since 2002, trillions. It will be trillions in rare precious metals from the King and the people of Great Britain. Because if that's 24 years of mining, and a gram is worth £1,000, and they've been mining this stuff for 24 years, they've stolen trillions. And he paid 1 point something trillion to acquire XAI or whatever it's called. So where'd you get that money from? Where'd you get trillions from? So I was right. I was right about everything. Bill Gates is losing a fortune. His reputation is completely and utterly destroyed. The reason why he wants to kill off the population of Africa is because Africa is the most minerally and precious metal rich lands on earth next to Russia. And we know what they wanted to do with Russia, because I've been risking my life to defend Russia and Ukraine. Because remember, Donald Trump was trying to force Zelensky to sign that metals deal. All that part of Eastern Europe is rich in minerals and precious metals, specifically the ones I've named. I called it rhodium. It's rhodium. God. So I was right. And if I was the king, I'd be furious. I would be utterly furious. They've stolen trillions. Trillions. It'll be trillions. And then Elon Musk just happens to have 1 point something trillions to buy out this thing and merge the two companies together. Isn't it interesting that he had 1 point something trillion just sitting there to buy this company out, to merge the two together so that he can pull off everything I said he'd need the precious metals for? And do you think they've paid the king? Nigel Farage has been caught with offshore money accounts. The Queen said they were all hiding money. Farage is one of them. He screwed it up. He sold his soul to the devil. He had the potential to turn Britain into something wonderful as Prime Minister, and he screwed it up. And now he's all over the Epstein files. You know who's one person out of all of this that everybody vilified, who has been honest from the get-go and has been trying to speak out about everything they've been doing, who probably is now deserving of a great apology, and that's George Galloway. He's never denied his connections to Russia. Why would you deny your connections to Russia? Vladimir Putin may have been dodgy in the past when it came to, that's how things were done. You had to do dodgy things in order to cover your back. They tried to get meetings set up with Putin and he refused. Epstein and that wanted meetings with Putin and he refused because he knew the truth. But it's like in order to see the light, sometimes you have to operate in the shadows. That's what I do. I sit in the dark and I watch everything from the light. I sit in the dark using God's flashlight. Sometimes, in order to do God's work, you have to sit in the dark to see the light. I don't like the fact that he was dealing with prostitutes and strippers and all that in order to get at these people, but that's none of my business. That's got nothing to do with me. But people are saying that when this is over, he's going to end up with Melania Trump. And I thought, God, I hope not, because like she was one of them, sleeping with pedophiles. She had a relationship with Epstein. She met Donald Trump apparently through a call girl company run through Trump and Epstein and all of that, and she groomed girls. She got girls for Trump, but people are saying that that's going to be the next great relationship because there's clearly some kind of sexual attraction between Vladimir Putin and Melania Trump, and it's like, God, I hope not. I hope he's got more class and dignity than that, more self-respect. Sloppy seconds. I hope he's not a sloppy seconds kind of guy, because that would turn my stomach. I'd lose a lot of respect for the man if he lowered his standards to a sloppy seconds pedophile call girl who just happens to be the first woman. She's not the first lady. She's not the first anything. She's been passed around just like Rocio and that have. So, yeah, personal opinion aside, it's just I have a lot of respect for the man. He's very classy and dignified, and the way he comes across, and I would just hate to think that he was sinking to those low standards just because he's who he is and single and, may get lonely sometimes. I hope he doesn't delve into the world of call girls and hookers and that sort of thing, because that would completely change my perception of him. But that's what they're saying on Tinterwebs anyway. That's what they're saying on X, that they're going to be the next great love affair. Anyway, I shall keep defending him because now people are defending him too, and they've started speaking out about how he was rescuing those children that the ICC pulled him up for. And, like everything I said, he wasn't kidnapping those children, he was rescuing them. It's everything I said. I haven't been wrong about a single thing yet. Now I just need the king to get this investigated. Apparently, as well, Vladimir Putin is setting up some sort of Wagner task force that goes after Satanists and elite, the satanic elite pedophile rings and that. I'd love to get involved in that. That'd be right up my alley. But I said he needs to, if he wants to be able to get away with this with God's blessing, he needs to get his facts straight and stop calling it Satanism. Because only people who don't understand the difference between Satan and the devil, the list of devils, would get it wrong. And if he's trying to do God's work, he needs to get everything. God and Satan are very by the book. Satan is very, he created universal law. Satan created the 10 Commandments. When Moses came out in the burning bush and he found the 10 Commandments in the burning bush or whatever it was, that fire was Satan. It was Satan that forged the commandments on, from the fire of hell, because Satan creates all the laws of the universe. And he creates the laws to remind everyone what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing if you want to avoid going to hell. And then he hands them to God, and then God taught them all to Jesus, and then Jesus taught everyone the message. And there, we know that the Bible was written by the Jews who wrote the Talmuds, and they've admitted that they wrote the Bible to confuse people. God even says in the book of Revelations, he distinctly tells the difference between Satan and the devil. He says Satan and the devil, specifically Satan and the devil, bearing in mind as well, Satan goes to hell. Satan goes to heaven to have meetings. When God calls meetings with all the angels of heaven, Satan's in those meetings. And then when Satan has to do his thing, when Satan calls his meeting, God goes down to hell, because they work together. They're the duality of nature. They're the duality of evolution. So you need to get that right, Vladimir Putin. Stop calling them Satanists and call them devil worshippers. If they call themselves Satanists, they're idiots. Because a Satanist is a hedonist. A Satanist is somebody who believes that I'm only here to live this life once, so I'm going to live a life of luxury and indulge in all the things of like passion and lust and pleasures of the flesh while I'm here, because I've only got one life. But they don't kill anyone to do it. They don't do blood sacrifices. A Satanist would never, ever, 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 ever in their life kill anything, because they know the rules. They're like sorcerers. You don't kill things in order to get what you want. You kill off things like your pride and ego. I don't care if people think I'm greedy because I change my luxury car every year. I work hard to earn that money. I've never met a true Satanist who doesn't have a high-paying job. They're usually like lawyers and programmers, and work on the stock market and that. But they wear like handmade Italian leather shoes, and their suits are classy, and they're very refined, and they only drink the best wine. Or if they do drink, they drink wine, but it's mostly things like brandies and cognacs and that, because they're more expensive. And it's all about, they will only sleep with the most beautiful women or the most beautiful men. And, they have like nice houses, and they go on expensive holidays, and they'll have like nice yachts and nice cars and that sort of thing, because they live a hedonistic lifestyle, the life of vanity. That's a Satanist. A Satanist is not somebody who goes around killing people to worship the devil. Why would Satan kill people to worship something that was lower than him? Because Baphomet, Baal, Molech, all these other devils, Azrael, all of that, they're lower than him. Why would Satan kill things to worship something that was it would be low value? That would be like the king killing. I'm just saying, this would be like the king killing the prime minister to worship a pedophile. Well, you know what I mean. So, Satan is like the most powerful god in the underworld. He's the prince of darkness. He is the king of kings of darkness. And the devil tempts man to sell their soul to the devil so that the devil can collect for Satan. Satan sends the devil out to find people who can be tricked into sinning, because it's a test of faith. People who commit sins against the pure and innocent, the more you're willing to do for the devil to get your money, to get your women, to get your fame, to get your power, to get whatever, the more you're willing to do for the devil, the further away from conscious light you are, to the point where, people like Keir Starmer and Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and that can just kill people without having a conscience about it. They have no conscience. When you harbour guilt about something you've done, you still have a conscience. But when you can do things like kill children and kill women and do bad things to people without a conscience, without it eating away at you, you have no conscience. And the further you are away from the light of consciousness, the darker your soul, the more likely you are that Satan's going to come and collect your soul. So he sends devils out. Various devils have specific roles, like Baphomet is for, that's Elon Musk. Baphomet is lust, Baal is greed, Molech is sacrifice, the sacrifice of purity and innocence, that sort of thing. He sends them out to tempt people to see how pure their heart is and how clear their conscience is. And if they're lacking even a little bit, that they're easily tempted, like Chris and Martin and all that were easily tempted to sin against God, to do what they did against me, it means that they're lacking conscience and pure hearts. Because anyone with a conscience or a pure heart would say, what are you talking about? I'm not going to do that. And then they'd go and whistleblow, go to the cops and say, look, so-and-so asked me to do this. That is someone of high moral standing. Like me, that's what I do. When I see them doing stuff, the first thing I do is run to the King and the ICC. I couldn't go to the police because when I did, they sold their souls to the devil, didn't they? To cover their own asses. But now they're all being exposed. So if Vladimir Putin is going to set up a Wagner group, like to become an elite occult special forces, if he wants to be able to do this without it landing him in court, losing him money or getting him into trouble morally or ethically, he needs to get his occult understanding right. Because you wouldn't be going after a real Satanist. Because what would their crime be? Unless they were stealing the money to live their hedonistic lifestyle, what's their crime? You'd be arresting innocent people. And then it would come back on you, Vladimir Putin. So get your facts straight. It's not Satanists you want, it's devil worshippers. But you want to go after the people who call themselves Satanists only if, because you will find, and I'm telling you now, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, you will find that all the people who call themselves Satanists are poor. They're broke. The people who live on benefits, the people, they play video games all the time and they work in shoe stores and supermarkets and that. A real Satanist is a hedonist and they're proud of it. They don't hide it. But they would never kill anyone to do it, to have it. Never. Because they understand the laws of the universe. The force of karmic consequences is a real thing. And a true Satanist would know that, so you need to get your facts straight. So, yeah. I'll put a link in with about the Russian physicist who is basically talking about quantum magnetics, and how time jumping was nothing for him. It's nothing for me either. And the link's in the description box below. But yeah, if anyone who was representing the king is listening to this, you need to get onto this now, and Elon Musk needs to be investigated too. You need to look to see if he's had any drilling, like the Boring Company, if there's been any activity in the United Kingdom. And I think you need to issue his arrest warrant along with Starmer and all the other. I mean, Sunak's mentioned. I said Sunak, Brown, Johnson. They've all been named. Tony Blair, because my findings went back to 2002, that's Tony Blair. So the Queen was right. So they've been stealing money from the Queen and now the King for quite a while. Certainly, and then bringing Elon Musk in to do all the quiet mining, letting people thinking it's earthquakes when it's not, it's drilling. So, yep, so I was right, and Elon Musk has just opened his big fat trap. He's just admitted everything that I uncovered in my investigation. So, great job. See, because the devils and demons always have to announce themselves in the presence of God. And God's all over this Epstein stuff. We're all over it, aren't we, Father? So I hope I had said last year to the King, if you've got any money tied up in Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Peter Thiel or Donald Trump or any of them in business, pull your money out now because it's all about to come falling down. It's all going to get torn down. I hope he listened because it is. Bill Gates is losing millions. They're all losing millions. It's hilarious. So, and then a couple of weeks ago I said to the King, time's running out now, tick tock, the alarm's going, dissolve Parliament, or I don't know how long I'm going to be able to protect you for. And because nothing's been done because the King hasn't dissolved Parliament yet, with this new Epstein dump, and it's all come out about Mandelson and Brown and Blair and Johnson and Sunak and Starmer and all that, people are saying the King must be in on it. And now all the stuff's coming out. They're trying to say that Prince William sacrificed a person and Andrew sacrificed a person, and the King's greedy and all. It's everything I said. It's everything I warned. I warned him. I warned you, bruh. And now it looks like they've stolen trillions. It will be trillions. If it's 24 years of stealing the most precious metals on the planet, we are just like a gram of osmium is £1,000. And they've stolen enough to be able to colonise Mars and the moon and put AI in space and SpaceX and all that. They've stolen trillions. Well, they've left Great Britain in poverty with veterans dying on the street in the cold, and they're trying to kill everyone off with fake pandemics that have been planned since, I don't know, when did that Epstein email go back to? They've done this on purpose just so that they can go in their spaceships and pretend to be aliens, to pretend to be Martians. Elon Musk said it himself. I'm a time-travelling alien. Klaus Schwab thinks he's an alien too. He literally said it. Because remember the Nazis? Remember how they were planning on going to the moon? Remember how they planned on exterminating everyone and going to the moon? This is 2.0. And remember, they're all Nazis. They're all connected to, they're either the grandsons or granddaughters of Nazis. From Zelensky, von der Leyen, Musk, Trump, all of them, they're all connected to, all related to Nazis. That's what this whole thing in Antarctica is. They want you thinking that it's an alien thing, but it's not. They've been building all this stuff to colonise Mars and the moon since the Nazis. Because there's a lot of precious minerals around Antarctica and all that too. So, but they just, because they're Antichrist, because they don't believe in God, they didn't see God was watching the whole time. And then he created me as the scientist with the physics to see it all and document it all. And now that they've opening up their big traps, I can go, see, he walked right into it. He literally walked right into God's trap. When I did my investigation, Elon Musk has walked right into that trap. Idiots. Idiots. But, you know, he won't be going into space. He won't be doing any of it because he's going to end up in prison. Well, drugs and alcohol, actually, but, yeah. But he will get arrested. The people will be held accountable. I just need the king to hurry up because it's getting harder and harder and harder for me to defend him against the people that are getting angrier and angrier that he hasn't dissolved Parliament yet, to the point where they've lost hope in him and they're calling for him to go. So, yep, long story short, haha, I was right. Elon's an idiot. Like, yeah, I couldn't believe it when it came up on the thing. I was like, surely not. He's just admitted everything I've just said they stole those metals for. Yep, he's just admitted it. Because when you have no conscience, you don't think straight. You just blurt it all out without fear of consequence because you have no conscience. Because your conscience pulls you up on these things. Are you sure you should be saying that? Are you sure you should be doing that? Is that the right thing to say? Should you really be saying that now? Because if you say that now, you're going to walk right into Debbie's trap. I know what I'm doing, because I'm Elon Musk, and I have no conscience or intelligence. I'm an idiot. I'm inbred. I'm just going to say it and admit that I've just helped these people pull off the greatest heist in world history. Forgetting I told the king it's exactly what they were going to do just days, weeks before. It's like Homer's sperm. Remember Homer's sperm? When they look at his sperm under the microscope and they're all banging heads, all banging into each other like doi, 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 doi. That's Elon Musk. That's him right now. He's just doied himself. Makes my science look pretty awesome though, and my connection to God. So there you go. So I hope the king gets people onto it because they've stolen trillions right out from under his nose. And they thought they were getting away with it. Wrong.